calligraphy and the charm of it all. Hello everyone, welcome to the Tao of Chinese Calligraphy, where we uncover the mysteries of this art. I'm Long Young. Welcome! First, let's meet our three distinguished guests. They are, from the Central Academy of Fine Arts, Professor Chu Zhenjun. From the Minzu University of China, Professor Meng Men. And Vice President of the China Calligraphers Association, Ye Pegwei. When it came to the art of cursive script, a man named Huai Su had no rival. Banana leaves conveyed his mastery, and wild cursive works celebrated his art. Breaking worldly limits, he drank and touched the true world. Next, we will be introducing Huai Su's most famous work. Allow me to present to you Autobiography.
I come from Changsha, where I serve the Buddha. Besides studying the scriptures, calligraphy is my passion. I never saw the great works of the earlier masters. I saw very little of this art. I traveled to the capital, Chang'an, and met many renowned scholars. The rare texts and priceless books I saw broadened my horizons. As they commented, my varied and graceful brushstrokes, they echoed with the wind and the storms. An innovative style with no fixed rules, fine script that flows from the ink and art that came from the mind to the hand, in order to produce aesthetic harmony. And my brush danced on white walls with a strong, creative impulse. Thousands of elegant characters could be written to the sound of the exhilarating shouts and laughs. Strokes that ran like galloping horses, exceeding the imaginations of all who see them. I felt the calligraphy with my heart and soul. When I was drunk, I wrote lines at will. When sober, I could not reach the same realm. I come from far away, lonely like a cloud drifting in the universe, unleashing my madness. I touch the true world when I am drunk.
Thanks to our artists for their performance. Their free and wild dance vividly illustrates the spirit of the great work of wild cursive script autobiography. It's a rare scroll measuring about 297 inches in width and about 11 inches in height. It is made up of 698 characters in total. So, Professor Chu, what exactly is autobiography trying to express?
During the Tang Dynasty, when scholars traveled, they went to the capital to further their studies or take exams. They were expected to present their own poems or articles to nobles. They needed an introduction to stand out from the rest. Let's imagine the Buddhist monk Huai Su traveling all the way from the south to Chang'an, the capital of the Tang Dynasty. He wanted to learn new things and gain a chance to be recognized.
He couldn't appear boastful, so he quoted what others had said about him.
Yes, indeed, a smart move. He wrote an autobiography. We can tell that some people wrote poems for him. Obviously, it was useful, as there were quite a few favorable comments that were on his works.
Even without autobiography, one can see his influence from the reviews by other cultural luminaries, like the poet Li Bai, who held Huai Su in such high esteem that he described him as without rival in cursive script. One interesting thing was that Huai Su and Li Bai share similar personalities. They drink, are free-spirited in their conduct.
Exactly. At the time, Li Bai was at his peak. He was famous everywhere. It was very unusual for such a big name. To speak so highly of a 20-year-old nobody like the unknown young monk Huai Su, it was even more surprising that Huai Su accepted these high compliments with grace and dignity. That was remarkable. Autobiography? I think it's a collection of many compliments. The first line reads, "I am a monk. I love calligraphy. Lastly, said, I do not deserve the praise you have given me." But in between, it is full of all kinds of praise and compliments from others. So then, is he boasting? No, people admired him. They liked him and his work that much. Like the great Tang Dynasty poet Renoir, he wrote in one poem that people say that you come from the region south of the Yangtze River. But I say you come from heaven. He saw Huai Su as godlike.
Just like other poets talked about Li Bai.
Yes, you're quite right. Exactly the same. Upon his arrival in the capital, people rolled out the red carpet for him. He was generously received wherever he went in the city. He was welcomed by people setting up new indoor screens and new walls. They prepared blank surfaces for Huai Su. They'd all hoped that he might leave some valuable work during his visit. They'd all hoped that he would feel inspired after a few glasses of wine.
That's interesting. Thanks, Professor. The monumental autobiography falls into the wild cursive category, right, Professor Chu?
Yes, autobiography as we see it right here is one of the rare and original wild cursive works from the Tang Dynasty. As we are all aware, people are often intimidated by cursive script. It is seen as hard to read and write, but it's seen like writing that comes from heaven. That's why there's usually an annotation attached. To all cursive pieces, it explains their content, always. Because if you can't read the characters, you can't really appreciate the piece. After reading it many times, getting to know it by heart, and even reciting all of its contents, Only when we become one with its structure, its brush strokes, and its style can we feel assured in our appreciation. Before the emergence of wild cursive script, functionality was the main priority when it came to calligraphy in China. But wild cursive script was able to release the expressive potential of this art form in a way that was inspiring. It didn't matter whether or not you could read every word or even convey what you wanted to in the writing. You could leave all of that behind. What followed was its major characteristic, and that was imagination.
Do you think wild cursive script was a product of the era, Professor Meng?
Yes, it reflected the spirit of the era. Where did the spirit come from? Chang'an was a global metropolis. You could meet people from all over the world there, find the best merchandise, and embrace the most advanced thoughts. So anyone could feel like they were on top of the world and that they could amount to something great. The monk Huaisu thought so too. I think it was the confident, ostentatious, and romantic spirit of the era that enabled those great talents and calligraphy style to flourish.
Could we say that wild cursive script excels at reflecting a calligrapher's most original temperament?
In autobiography, Huaisu wrote, "Thousands of elegant characters could be written to the sound of exhilarating shouts and laughter. You can sense how swiftly his brush moved." With cursive script, it's very difficult to keep the quality of the brushstrokes high when writing at such great speed. From ancient to modern times, calligraphers have been driven by unrestrained impulse to express themselves through writing, but have been constrained by the technical difficulties they encounter along the way. This is the enduring charm of cursive script, and why people love it. They genuinely love it from the depths of their hearts and in their souls. We all believe that cursive script allows us to express our innermost feelings that have not been revealed, the feelings we are not ready to reveal yet. This freedom of expression is the appeal of cursive script. Importantly, it gives Chinese calligraphy even greater possibilities and unlimited room for development.
There is so much more to learn about it. Let's move on to the next round. Masters, thumbs up. Answer the following questions to earn Master's thumbs up stamps. Listen up. Please identify the cursive script characters and match them with the modern forms. You may begin. Time's up. Let's see the answers. The Chinese characters are Zhen, Ling, He, Hui. How many of you got them right? Let's take a look. Wow, only 10 people got the right answer. Congratulations, here is a stamp of meow for those 10 contestants.
Only 10 of our contestants here got it right. That's really surprising, but understandable. The cursive script has its own unique writing structure. The character Jin has one dot at the bottom. If you add one more dot, it becomes another character, Ling. And the character He looks quite like the modern character form of Ling. But it's not right. It's the character He. Obviously, this can be very confusing. The character Hui is easier to recognize. Why does this happen? You should know the basic formulation of cursive script to be able to recognize the characters.
Okay, thank you, Professor Chu. Next, let's invite another lucky contestant to join us for the next question.
Dear host, respected experts, fellow contestants, I'm Yang Gang Liang from Shandong Province.
Welcome. I have a question available for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
The question's on screen. There are 3 stamps left by different collectors of autobiography. Please identify the characters on them.
The first is longevity. The second is Wang Zhengming stamp. The third is the descendant of Su Qin stamp.
Are you certain?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations, you answered all the questions correctly. What's the story and significance of these 3 collectors' stamps on autobiography, Professor Ye?
The first stamp was by the Qing Emperor Qianlong. If you pay special attention to the pattern, you can see the same stamp on many famous works of calligraphy that once belonged in the imperial collection. This is one of the emperor's favorite stamps. Emperor Qianlong highly valued this precious stamp. The third stamp is very important. It belonged to a descendant of Su Qin, a great politician and philosopher over 2,000 years ago. Su Qin was in charge of the 6 seals of the prime ministers of 6 states. The owner used the stamp to mark his identity as Su Qin's descendant. The story goes that when he found this piece and included it in his collection at home, the first 6 lines were missing, so he added them back. The middle stamp belonged to the calligrapher Wen Zhengming. Now we can see there is a postscript by him on the masterpiece Autobiography. It is reputedly a rubbing copy added later from another source using some special framing process.
Next, we'll invite our contestants to copy Huai Su's autobiography as a tribute to the masterpiece. There's a certain technique for copying cursive script. If it's too similar, it loses freedom. If your brush follows your own will, then you stray far from the original. How do we find a balance between these 2 aspects? How should we approach it?
Cursive script is infamously difficult to copy. When we teach our students cursive script, some students copy from the original scrupulously, stroke by stroke, and they learn it mechanically. But that misses out on the overall feel of the composition and the relationship between the characters. The result is then similarity, only in appearance. Cursive script, especially wild cursive script, is freestyle for calligraphy enthusiasts. There is no set formula or a number of rules to follow in order to get it right. That's why cursive script is so challenging for beginners. We can imagine that when Huasu wrote in cursive script, his brush went where his inspiration took him, in a natural flow. But if you also set your brush free, then it will never be his style. And if you follow his work strictly and do not grasp its inherent rhythm, then it won't have a natural flow. It's a simple paradox, and it could become a mechanical copy. This places high demands on learners of cursive script.
Professor Ye, if someone says that they like cursive script so much that they want to begin with this calligraphy style, do you think it's possible?
Yes, I think it is. To some extent, there are 5 basic script styles, and they all have their own fundamentals in Chinese calligraphy. If you master a basic understanding of one script style among the 5 basic script styles, then you can directly start with and completely grasp this particular style of Chinese calligraphy. So it is.
Let's take a look at our contestants' copies that they just finished. Wow, 30 copies of Huai Su's cursive script work autobiography.
You've been watching the Tao of Chinese Calligraphy, a show dedicated to showcasing masterpieces from the history of Chinese calligraphy. Join us again next time.